Oof. Welcome to the nightmare, everybody. And another episode of the RomaPress podcast. We hope you are doing well. Very quickly, a thank you to our newest patron and very, very sick individual, apparently, Eric Turner. Thank you for your support. And of course, to all of the other wonderful patrons who make times like this fairly more tolerable. I won't say that we have. If you were to look at the group chats right now, it essentially, for all intents and purposes, it is a asylum. We are all sick for having to put up with this, Andy. But thank you all nonetheless for your support. And of course, if you want to check out our YouTube, visit youtube.com/isromapress, where you can get the video version of the podcast that we are doing now, so you can see how we maintain sanity during moments like this. I was just making sure I removed all pills from view, so nobody sees what it takes to medicate me in a moment like this. This is Andy. Where do we even want to start? Because a few days ago, we were sitting here. I said that, okay, there are two ways this will go. Roma, they can win against Genoa in Liguria and put the disappointment of Torino behind them, or we are going to be in full crisis mode. We will get the usual stuff of the ambiente, which is the radios, Mourinho out. I'm trying to think of all of the other good hits that we tend to go to. Going into Ritiro, which for anybody who has followed Italian football for more than 2
I
seconds
mean, this
knows
is. I
that
mean, but it's gonna happen.
play the hits. Going into Ritiro, that is usually the first sign that oof, that it is bad. By the way, if you want to just think of or consider the stupidest of concepts, I am firmly and have always been against going into Retiro. When you are in a bad moment, the very last thing you want to do is bring these guys to Trigoria or for any other club. I find it to be it is one of those things in Italian football. Well, we can just say in the country in general that for some reason at one point somebody thought it was a good idea, and it just from generation to generation it has been passed down. Happens every season to at least 2 or 3 teams. Again, I'm firmly against it. I have DAZN on right now. uh, I haven't seen that being suggested yet, but I will just wait a few minutes, and I assume it will come at any moment.
Yeah, but it's gonna be mentioned. I mean, it's inevitable. After
It,
something
it,
like
it
this,
is.
it is. I don't know. I
They
mean,
couldn't have waited until February at least. I mean,
no, but also, I mean, do we really have to come on here after this? I would
what am I
love to
supposed to
have
say? Yeah,
selective episodes of when to record, or when when you have something worth to talk about, because when you have nights like these where it's so evident that something completely did not work and is not working, and it's so deflating to look at a score line and then dig
oh,
deeper and also see that there was absolutely no effort made
none.
to sort of overturn the eventual outcome.
Yeah,
I think that is the most deflating part. It's not even the fact that we lost 4-1
oh,
last year. Last year
people
we
look at that
we
score. This is
lost.
child's play, man. This is
Last year we lost 4-0 with Udinese in the opening weeks of the season, but I didn't have the same feeling then as I do now.
yes.
No, perhaps obviously I'm not looking even at the points in the standings, which is embarrassing because five
Don't do
points in
that.
six games
No.
is pretty bad. Given also our schedule, I mean, you could look at our schedule, and it's again there for the taking.
Yes.
Anyway, last season we lost that 4-0 game against Udinese, but I didn't get the impression that the ramifications of that match were there to compromise our season so early on. But here, the signs are all there. The signs are all there because of the circumstances that this
Mm,
match took place in, because exactly of what you outlined in the previous episode, where what the expectations were for this game. The expectations for this game were get in, get a result, get out, move on. Because you did not do that against Torino, you're going to have to do it today at the Marassi against Genoa. Well, guess what? Roma, as always, and
5 minutes it
always,
took them.
always, always, and it's always maximized. It's such a polarizing team. They
Mm,
either deliver you the greatest joys of all time, or they absolutely undercut whatever enthusiasm, whatever goodwill, whatever positive energy accumulated around this team over the past 2 years, and just start to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And after a night like this, where we lose 4-1, as
yes.
opposed to the Udinese match from a year ago, I'm here and I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking, well, where is this going to go? Because last year I did not question. I thought that was a small bump on the road. I thought, even performance wise, that night was not comparable to this night. This night, you
Yeah,
just
remember those goals
completely.
Udinese scored? I mean, they were so
So and also it
fluke
was just
almost.
and also they were just on
Mm,
and Roma were off. But tonight Roma didn't even try. Roma didn't, and when they even tried, it was perhaps more embarrassing than when they tried. So
it's a great
um
point.
that is why it just I'm not somebody who panics. I mean, I've known this team too long, and I've been doing this podcast with you for too long to fall into those traps. But this scoreline really, and the performance behind it, really start to shake the foundations of my belief, if I can put it that way. They do, because it's one way to not show up, to be too tired, and okay, and perhaps you're coming off some other convincing performance, but Roma had no place. This was no time and place for this kind of display. It just wasn't.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm so beaten down right now after having watched that. The thing that probably bothers me most is, if you go 1 through 11, okay, Roma have more quality. If you go look at the managers, okay, Gilardino, this is a guy who was playing a violin in the air just a couple of years ago. Roma have the better manager. Just everything about Roma on paper is superior. Nobody is going to argue that. What what bothered me most was I made the mistake of looking at the final statistics, and you look at Genoa. I don't have it pulled up right now, and I can't bring it. I don't. I'm not sick enough to look at it again. So just assume I am right on this, but correct me if I am wrong. I believe Genoa had 8 shots total, 4 of which were on target, compared to Roma's 21 shots. And I look at the possession. I think Roma ended with 71, 72. That probably should check. Hold on one moment. So what I am looking at right now, I am seeing 71 to 29 for the possession. Total shots. See, I was wrong. 20. This is why I talk out of my ass so much. Uh, Total shots. Roma 13, Genoa 8, 4 of which were on target. Well, we all know what the score was. I just look at that, and on one side, I see wasted chances. I see a lack of effort. You bring up the effort thing, and that is probably the thing that irks me the most. We can look at that first goal. Okay, Strootman was always going to get at least an assist today, so that okay, fine. On that first goal, okay, whatever, blame whoever. It can happen. It is what it is after 5 minutes. Okay, you do well, in my opinion, to respond and stay balanced. You don't let yourself get too low, and you get an equalizer 15 minutes later. Okay, great. All you have to do is stay balanced. You are just seconds away from going into halftime, and Rui Patricio happens. I mean, you want to talk about the funeral? I'm wearing black, all black next time, white with a white tie, because the guy that we saw in the first season at Roma, that seems like I lived a dream for 1 year, and now I have. You know what that reminds me of? We got Rui Patricio after that first season. I feel like, anybody who has been to Stadio Olimpico or any of the Italian stadiums, there are street vendors selling shirts outside of the stadium. Uh, these fake, knockoff replica kits, okay? And
You mean to say
I,
somebody put a knockoff kit on Rui Patricio, or he's one of
I
the
no, I feel like
vendors?
somebody did like a Liam Neeson, installed the real Rui Patricio, and gave us whatever this thing is in goal. I have never seen such a one to downgrade. Doesn't even encapsulate what we have witnessed, and I don't know, man. I just you were in that match, and there is just something about this Roma, or at least the early version of this 2023-2024 Roma. They don't have anywhere near the assurances or the willingness. I talked about willingness and ability to suffer, to suffer, to suffer, to suffer. Compare what we saw tonight to, again, Bayer Leverkusen, and there's no way those are the same teams, same players. This is case of the body snatchers. That defensive performance of tonight versus what we saw in Germany. I am you couldn't convince me that is the
Yeah,
same group of players, same manager, same approach, same
yeah.
attitude. How? And what even bothers me most, okay, you don't have Smalling, fine. I would say most of us would agree Diego Llorente, a more than capable replacement. We talked about Indica, was doing superb up to this point, in my opinion. So
Smalling himself at the first two games of the season was easily one of the worst performers for the
yes,
team.
yes,
So
he was, and I think to myself, what has happened here? Is this simply a case of, okay, it is still early? That I have to tell you, from being in a full out mental health crisis right now, just everyday life on top of this stuff, the only thing preventing, or that I'm holding on to, is
it's
truly
talking to
just
me. Oh,
it's well, yeah, that, and it's still early. Seriously, I mean, beyond the fact that it is still early, what else am I supposed to hold on to? What hope are we supposed to have? And this entire time, after they scored that third goal, I was brought back to, because up until that point, I actually thought Roma were going to draw a level. I thought this match was going to end 2-2. So hands up, I clearly know nothing of football. Um, I was just depressingly looking through my WhatsApp, trying to clear it out, because our group chat, anytime there's a poor result, I have to clear out old previous chats, because
I'm being
everybody.
mentioned right now in our patron group
Oh,
chat with
oh,
people
good.
asking where am I.
Yeah, well, you're here trying to find ways not to hurl
I'm in a
yourself out the
bunker.
window. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, I one of the chats I deleted was my thread with good old Uncle Walter Sabatini.
Oh
And
yeah.
one of the messages I had sent to him, it is from 2015. I had asked, this was coming into a Champions League match. I had asked, how do you feel of tonight? Just, do you think they will win? And his response back, and this is, I don't know how many old people you, or just everybody, any of our audience has in their lives, but whether it's WhatsApp, regular messaging, Facebook, I have found that messaging boomers, so to speak, uh, a reply back is either going to be very short, concise or it's going to be in all caps. His response to him, this was again 8 years ago, which is insane to me. He just said, "Who knows?" And that is one of those. It's
Well,
short,
yeah,
it's sweet,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I couldn't think of a better,
And
more
that's the why
perfect
that's how
metaphor
big Walter Sabatini. That's
of
why he
Roma
looks the way he looks right now.
and and messages the way
Sorry.
I mean the way he it is when somebody responds to you like if your partner responds to you just okay, you know nothing is okay. Just if you see the letter O next to the letter K, you know nothing is okay. Nothing
No,
ever is okay when
no,
you
no,
get
no.
that response back.
That's the yeah.
All of his responses back. I mean, I was going through the thread. Things I asked him. Yes, no, okay, perhaps. Just what half of his replies back are forse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if he's pissed off at me, but the who knows is
I
one of
just
the
think I
most.
don't think he has enough strength in his hands to tap out enough character.
Well,
I
that's
mean, have you seen
probably at
some of the
least.
photos recently going around the web of him? It's
He
not
looks
looking
he
good. It's not looking good.
what is it? The Crypt Keeper? Is that a movie? The
I
Crypt Keeper, like
I
the
don't know.
uh, I forget
He
what
looks
movie
bad.
that I'm
Okay,
trying.
Like he looks
Yeah,
like
he
the
looks terrible.
embodiment. Walter Sabatini is the embodiment of a guy who's been watching too many Roma games over too many years, and it's just gotten to him health wise. And that's
Isn't
what
it
could
insane?
happen to us if we don't
Yeah,
take our
football is going to
pills.
kill us. Not smoking 5 packs of Reds a day. It will be the
Absolutely,
stress of football. But in all
absolutely.
seriousness, so when I look at that and it just said, "Who knows?" And I just thought to myself, "That's Roma.
Yeah,
That
that's Roma.
is
It's always
Roma."
there. It's always yeah. It's
Who
always there. It's the same
you could
story.
have
It's a different version.
you could have told me they were going to win 5-1. You could have told me they were going to lose 4-1, and I would have believed
Yeah,
either
absolutely,
of those results.
absolutely.
And I think therein lies the issue.
Yeah.
Therein lies the issue. And the thing that worries me now most, as opposed to, I mean, we talked about it last time, and you at least have to have some levity of it. You and I have been doing this for, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years.
5 years, going for over 5 years. Yeah.
How many 7-1 results have we had to come on here and discuss? At least two or three,
At least
right?
two, and then we've had
Fiorentina,
some other embarrassing nights. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Fiorentina, whatever. The point is that we have done it before. We can do that standing on our head. But
Yeah.
at most of those, in most of those times, you think to yourself, okay, this is one of those fluke chance results that
Well,
could
Fiorentina
it
was,
have
and
an
we said Fiorentina. We said clearly that
yeah,
that
yeah,
was game over for Di Francesco. That was the end
yeah,
of the road for
like
them.
could it, I always think of the one of Bayern Munich because I think to myself, yeah, Roma could do that standing on their heads, and then they'll go defeat Chievo Verona in the next match. A match like that where it feels like a one-off. It looks like a one-off. I'll never forget that match because it looked like Bayern Munich. Pep could have told them to walk the ball into the net and it would have gone in. This one bothers me to such a higher degree because you have a manager that, listen, if we go down the line of the 7-1s, Eusebio, Agent Rudy. I mean, look at what that guy's doing. He's pissing off his best player. Okay, the guy is a kamikaze. He's a kamikaze, Rudy. Um, you have Jose Mourinho at the helm now. This is something so different than the previous ones, and on top of that, this would be one thing if this were a team. I don't know, Sassuolo, just a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys, and we know there are going to be very obvious and clear traps, bumps along the way. I can live with that. I've heard the word project in regards to Roma 50,000 times. When I hear that, it just leads me to believe expect problems, but don't be too alarmed. I am alarmed because this is a group of guys who have been together 3 or 4 years now. The ones who are new, relatively new, are the highest quality guys within the squad of Roma. Lukaku, Christensen, I don't know. Um, Indica, high quality guys. So just by way of that, I should think to myself, okay, well, you have a very strong base, you have a very capable manager. Results like this should not happen. And I look at tonight, and it is nothing resembling what we've seen positive in the past. Every good habit, it seems, that they developed under Jose Mourinho went into the bin tonight. And as you said a couple of times, and I just want to highlight, if we look at Roma's calendar for the first 3 months, this has to be. I haven't done a full analysis since it originally came out, but I would venture to guess this was the most advan- advantageous period. Yeah.
Mm,
And what are we at now? One victory, three defeats,
yeah.
two draws. I, I, I don't know. And the thing is, like,
Yeah.
from your perspective, I mean, I just 99% of people are going to think to themselves, well, it is only going to get worse. And I don't know how to stay positive. I don't know what positives I have to grasp onto.
I mean, yeah, it's the worrying thing is that it's not even that today something went wrong today. I think a switch was turned off in the summer because what we are seeing right now is a team that is incapable of doing anything correctly. There is not one strength that I can clearly point out in this team. There is
Mm,
not one player that is performing up to the standard. With the excluding Lukaku, there's not one player that has done anything to impress me uh, in the long run. There is not one player that looks comfortable. Perhaps with the exception of Mancini, there is just literally nothing working at the back in terms of just organization. That is something that has to track back to the summer. It's not something that
mm,
we've lost over the last two games, over the last 2 3 weeks. This is something that was switched off in the summer, whatever that is. And Roma are not, they keep persisting. What I said at the beginning of when we lost to Milan and we went into the international break, I said it's fine because sort of the mantra has to be, you make 2 or 3 mistakes, fine. But if you keep persisting, and that's when the trouble comes out, and that's what we've been doing. We've been persisting with the wrong ideas. There's not a single I don't know, I mean, there is nothing that screams, oh, we have a clear game plan idea in our heads. It's like everybody's out there for themselves. Leandro Paredes is being absolutely murdered in the middle of the pitch because for some reason he's being asked to do things that are not in his world.
I can't
He
believe he
is
still hasn't done as you said. I can't believe he hasn't moved to a more position of
he
mezzala.
is he
I don't
is playing.
understand.
He's the guy who plays from the back. He's not the guy that goes and plays in front of the defense and disrupts the opponent, and
Yeah,
the guy that you can leave all on his own. The fact
yeah.
that you
Turn off that Empoli vine that still floats out there of
yes
him doing
yes
that. Give me
yes
a break
yes
with that, man.
yes
9 years ago.
yeah, yeah, I don't think they have Vine anymore. So no, but it's nothing is working from the manager down to the players. Nothing is working because there is no concrete plan of action. It seems like this team right now is navigating in murky waters. They're just limping. The condition is awful. I don't know what happened in the summer. Somebody, I don't know if they got a lung transplant or something, but every single player out there is unable to run a full 90 minutes. um it's gotten to the point that you are getting embarrassed by a Genoa team that, okay, is good, but it's you're still the superior side. You still are expected to win in these situations, and what makes me worried or makes me not be as hopeful as I usually am is that this is not the first instance. This is a persisting pattern, and today was, hope again. Hopefully, the culmination happens today,
Mm.
because if there is something like, if you don't, and it's always like this with Roma, if you don't get slapped around, you will not learn your lesson. But because this is beyond getting slapped, this is an absolute annihilation, of everything that you've been working for over the past 2 years. Like, as I said, the fact that even the fans, the traveling fans, are calling them out on the pitch, which is not something that has happened very often with Mourinho.
That's
It
another of
means that,
the hits, yeah, when
yeah,
things are bad. Into the curva.
it means you really hit a nerve there. It means that you really, wiped the slate clean of anything good that you've been working towards with this team over these last 2 years. It means that over the course of the summer, you hit the reset button, but for some reason you also took some major steps back. You have no defensive solidity to show for.
Mm.
I mean, that was your identity. That was what constituted the 90% of who you were as a team. Now you don't even have that. Every shot that is on is the opponent takes on goal goes into the back of the net. Um, the center backs have no idea how to communicate with the midfield. The midfield is no man's land. The attack has no link up play. The wingers are awful 90% of the time. So,
Mm.
uh, what makes me worried is that nothing is working, and there is, usually you see something, you see a glimpse, you see, oh, I think that's what we had with Empoli, right? And that's what made us think, well, look at this, I mean, this team at its full potential. And even Mourinho went out of his way to say, well, this team at its full potential can really surprise people. But then we get this in a schedule that is Empoli, Sheriff, Torino, Genoa, then Frosinone, then Servette, and on and on. I mean, this talk about a schedule made for a team that is trying to figure things out. But this team is not even trying to figure things out. Today there was
Mm.
nothing. It was just dead. It was just it was it was the lack of any semblance of team football. It was awful. But worse yet, it was hopeless. Like, it was a performance that absolutely gave you no reason to believe in this team doing anything remotely remarkable this season, which, to my mind, is the worst thing you can say about the Jose Mourinho side, because the man exudes so much charisma, and his his career speaks for himself, for the man, for his achievements. And I mean, I always got the sense that we will be okay because he's been through a lot. But this is difficult. This is difficult because,
Yeah.
if you I mean, I don't know even where we want to conclude this episode on, like, on what
I don't
note,
even know what to
because
say.
because
I've
we you what can you say? If you don't win against Frosinone, then what? I mean,
oh,
the
I
implications of a game like this go beyond next weekend. If you
yeah,
don't
I
get
just
and if you don't make a considerable step forward after tonight, then you may be looking at a really, really, really terrifying
yeah,
season, which I refuse to believe, because there has to be something. Like, overnight, you cannot lose everything. There still has to be something that you can hold on to. But this
yeah.
is extremely worrying.
I mean, I am terrified, and I think you brought up such a good point with comparing this one to the defeat against Udinese of last year. Because if you didn't watch either match, you say, well, 4-0, 4-1. Is there really
Both
that
away,
much
both
of
away, both played
both
away from
away,
home. Yeah.
both away?
Early in the
Uh,
season, both early in the season.
yeah, one in Friuli, the other one in Liguria. You think and you look and you just look at the score. You don't watch the full thing. You just say to yourself, okay, 4-0, fourth one. What is really the difference? One is bad, the other is bad. There's no, it's the same thing. But your point about the effort, I think, is just it's spot on. I remember that Udinese match so vividly, only because I remember those first two goals that they scored. It was almost as if you just have to applaud because the actions they, as you said, Udinese was flying that evening, flying. I look at tonight and Genoa, they were efficient to a very high degree, but I would not say that their football was champagne. It wasn't dazzling football. It wasn't. I wouldn't even say it was incredibly technically or tactically astute football. It was just it, it was effort. It was effort. That was it.
Yeah, it was.
But
I mean, it was
Milan
a hard
Betel,
fought match on
Stroman,
their. Yeah, yeah.
Betel.
They did
It's
what they
effort.
would have done in any kind of win. I mean, this could have ended,
Yes. Yes,
two
that's
to
perfect
one
way to
for
put it.
them, and the implications would have been just as serious for us. I mean, The point is, the scoreline doesn't tell the story. This game could have ended 2-1 for Genoa. It could have ended 1-0 for them. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The implications are still the same. Roma would still be in the same position. The situation with regards to the team, their ideas or their lack of, would be exactly the same as with this scoreline, which is bad enough. But as I said, the ramifications of something like this are widespread. They can be long term in terms of this season. And what if there's so many now
Mm,
scenarios that are just gonna be brought up, and that's why I hate when this team does something like this, because I would even take it if the result was just the result, and then that's the story. Boom, Roma go home. They're in the relegation zone point wise, and
right.
blah blah blah. But the shitstorm these things cause
Th- That's
within media, within fans, the absolute clusterfuck of rumors, of news that will be spinned around and round and round for the next week or so. Unbelievable.
yeah. Having to watch clips of I don't know who's. There are so many talking heads, Galopera or something. I c- I can do that in February. I can do it in March. You and I have done that how many times? February, March, where we are part of the funeral procession and we're lamenting another season having been lost before the spring even begins. Again, I can do that standing on my head without issue. What I can't do, and even more so with this manager and this team, again, if this was Roma 2011 under Luis Enrique, where you have eight, nine new guys, many of whom are young, are not used to being relied upon at a high level for a somewhat bigger club. I can live with Boyan sticking up his hand in Tuscany and doing the most
I knew
absurd
you
handball
were.
you've
Oh
ever
my
seen in your
god,
life.
this is I
I
think the
can
third
live
time you
with
mentioned it this
I
season.
can I can live with Lamela missing a sitter.
Okay,
I
there
can
you
live
go.
with those things. I can live with all of that because you can see very clearly this is a process. But man, this this was supposed to be um, the culmination, the pinnacle of the Jose Mourinho era at Roma. This was supposed to be the
The
cherry at
year, the
top.
year that you finally get to the Champions
Yes,
League.
yes, and you look again what Roma lost versus what they brought in this summer, and I okay, Nemanja Matic, fine, we can talk about that. Who came in? who left. We can debate as to whether everybody thinks the level is better or not. But regardless of whether you think they are improved or not, the fact of the matter is Roma acquired red. Uh, how do you guys at the ready, already high level guys that you don't need to give them time to adapt to playing high level first team football. You don't need to give them time to even adapt to the country. Lukaku, third season in Serie A. Paredes, he
Yeah,
has
it's
been
not
here.
even. I mean, it's not even worth mentioning. We know these guys. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not
like
the, and also it's just in terms of the development, the team. It's only natural that the expectations are higher heading into
yeah,
the third season of a manager, which is the first time it happens in God knows how long with Roma.
right. And if you fall short so early now, I can live with we need to gel. Paulo Dybala needs to learn how to play alongside Romelu Lukaku. Christensen needs to know how to play wing back instead of fullback. Feed me any kind of crap you want. I will probably be willing to accept it. Fine. Uh, but with this, it's supposed to be guys who have played at a high level, and this is not a new system. This is not a new approach. This is nothing new. Yet I don't see the same level of effort. I don't see the same level of even willingness, not even effort, just passion, the drive. Nobody looks angry or pissed off out there. They look very content, and those are things, effort, uh, feistiness. I don't know how you fix that. Those are things, in my opinion, that are innate when it comes to football. Those are not things that I as a manager, you as a sporting director, Walter Sabatini cannot go out there and tell somebody to, hey, I need you to be a high effort player. These are things, in my opinion, that just you either have it or you don't. You
But the
you
thing is
have
that we saw. I mean, we saw this guy. I mean, uh, I saw Mancini, Karsdorp over the years talk about being high effort, and I saw Cristante is all high effort. I mean, this
yes,
is a team that is made of guys whose technical qualities can be questioned, but for the sake of their level of effort, you just have to accept them for what they are. But the thing is that
yes,
the the problem is when the effort is there, but and the technical quality comes in secondary, but when there is no structure, no tactics around them, there is nobody's playing up to their strength. Like this current game plan doesn't benefit any. Like there is not a single player now, right now, that is that is thriving. There's not a single player that is doing things that, like Dybala last year, right? Like the team,
mm,
everybody accepted the fact that Dybala last year was saving your season, but the point was, well, this team, they're taking a step back. Like for example, Pellegrini, he took a step back. He let Dybala be the star of the show, and that was it. But the problem right now is that nobody is giving you like some kind of hope in the form of a convincing string of performances. Everybody is up and down, and it's been mostly down. Like, tell me, first name that pops into your head, except for Lukaku, who's been good, who's
yeah.
been the
There's
driving
nobody.
force, who's been the
Zero. There's
driving
nothing.
force for Roma? Maybe
Nothing.
Cristante, maybe, but again, Cristante, a guy who wherever you put him, he's going to try and do as much as possible. So not really, because I mean, this guy is like just you throw him everywhere. He might as well play goalkeeper, and he probably will do better than Rui Patiso. So, but there is no semblance of a playbook by which somebody clearly is thriving. You can't even say, "Oh, Pellegrini is doing well," or Dybala is nowhere to be seen, right? And that's
Right.
what I want. I want if at least give me like a reason as to why we're seeing what we're seeing. Because if this is perhaps, I don't know, a mysterious plan to integrate Evan Dika, and in order to do it, you need to compromise the team's defensive solidity. And
Oh,
but this is bullshit. What we're seeing is a team that's completely lost. They're lost at sea. There is no, and it seems there is no coming back from it. Like
mm,
that's how drastic this result is.
oh, I mean, you mentioned who they play next, and you want to talk about potential purge, man. I mean, that has all of the hallmarks of just a complete and total potential capitulation of the season. And from there, it goes from the season. Then you have to change manager. Then you get rid of the sporting director. I mean, not having to have gone through something that sickening since March of 2019, I believe it was, when we had Eusebio and Ramon go out the door at the same time. Uh, I mean, I just have in my head, Roma losing last moment to Frosinone, Eusebio getting his revenge, and it is just the cherry atop of the season, and we have not even entered October yet. I'm trying to find like some way to end this gracefully or even on a positive note. I mean, the only positive I've got today was reflecting on my messages with Walter. Makes it the only thing I'm getting is maybe I should just message him to
You
ask.
should
I
message
hope
him.
he's
I
well and
wonder
he's a
how he
great
is. Yeah.
guy. I mean, who knows if he still remembers me. But I'll message him and then the other Roma director, who I won't name, that offered me a certain powdery substance one time.
And
Whenever I get out of the
Fienga is in Saudi Arabia, so you can also check on
UK, is he
our
really?
guy. He's the
Is
he's the CEO of Cristiano Ronaldo's club now.
since when? Hold
John,
on.
since yesterday, that you need to be more on
No.
Twitter.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. See, this is you can tell I'm not in a good place right now because even on the stories of our own website, I'm not following. Oh my god. Okay. Well,
I didn't put it on the website because I don't think that
oh,
even
okay.
Fienga's mother cares about him. So,
Well, I have a thread with Fienga still, and it's not very nice.
but see what happens. See what these
The one with him
results
and
drive us
Badisoni are
to.
the ones that are not nice, but
Yeah, but
we
see
can save those
what's
for another
happening.
day.
We're talking about Fienga after this. Like this is the last
I
man,
can't.
a man
I
that even that had nothing to do with football. We're talking about him. I can't imagine. Like this is.
I mean, okay. So coming up, all right. So this is what Roma have coming up. Okay, so home to Frosinone, away to Cagliari, home to Monza, away to Inter, and then home to Lecce. Now, do you want me to say what that looks like on paper? Or do we not care about that? Like, take the paper and just
What did the start to the season look like on paper? Tell me. Like
ah, amen. So we had Salernitana, Verona, Milan,
Milan. Yep.
Empoli, Torino, Genoa. I just you in all seriousness, I would not have faulted a single person if they looked at that, because I do a reaction episode for the patrons when the schedule comes out. There may be audio of me saying Roma have a good opportunity to begin the season with 6 or 7
God, I hope
consecutive
not. I hope
victories.
these. I hope we don't get.
So the fact that may or may not be a thing that was uttered out of my big mouth is alarming. But
Oh,
I
God.
look at this calendar and I think to myself, well, first off, for my flight in a couple of weeks, I'm supposed to be in. I'm supposed to be back for when they face Monza, and then I'm going to go to Milano
Yeah,
to
just
see
don't go,
them
man. Just
face.
don't go.
I got an
Oh,
alert 2 days ago that once again my seat was changed to the middle one. Now at almost 2 meters tall.
God, I'm sorry about that.
That does not work. You can attest to this as another tall individual. 2 meters,
No, but not even tall,
almost
John.
6'5".
You played
It
American
doesn't. It is
football. You know, I mean,
the worst. It is the worst experience
what are you
on
saying? What are you
planet
saying?
Earth, sitting at
Yes,
my height in the middle
yes.
seat.
For what? For 6 hours,
And
7 hours?
on top of that, if I am treated, I'm sitting, I've got my press credentials. I go sit in the media section, and I had to be treated to watching Monza defeat Roma, and then flying to Milano, and then I, the thought of potential scorelines against Inter at this moment, I can't get there yet. I need more. I need more medication to be able to even conceivably come up with what that sort of match would look like. I mean, I am looking at this calendar, and before we go here, I you had me somewhat optimistic after Torino because okay, Torino, they score at the very last moment. Yes, it is a kick to the balls, but you know what? If you just win against Genoa, it's it's water underneath the bridge. And we look back, Andy, at the calendar, and I think, how much more help do you want? Uh, what if you were to just create your own? It would look something similar to that. I I don't know. I mean, I am out of just solutions. That you already faced some of the worst teams in Serie A, and this is where we are. I mean, what hope are you holding on to? That it's still early and
That's
that's it. Yeah, I mean, there's
yeah,
nothing
that's
else.
yeah, that's what I said. It's there is no help from the outside. These are things that you must figure out on your own. But the thing is, I wonder if this Roma team, are actually willing to figure this thing out.
Oh,
Um,
don't tell me that.
I honestly, no, no,
Oh,
no. I just mean they haven't shown me anything to believe that this is a team that has, the drive to get going and
oh my
climb their
gosh.
way out of this, as opposed to previous versions of this team, the version of the team that faced Bodo, um, the team that was embarrassed several times last season or delivered so and so performances, and then they went out of their way to basically shut down all the talk in the Europa League.
Mm.
Um, I want that. I'm missing that. I'm missing that reassurance from Mourinho and the players, and that has to. It's sort of it's a mix of, of what they're doing and not doing. I mean, it's the players are not performing, but the manager is not putting them in a position to perform in the first place. So
Yeah, I am struck by, and this is what I said in the patron group chat. The thing that strikes me most, and I think really embodies this Roma. Jose Mourinho, he just went on the zone, and I'm obviously I don't have the sound on, but I have the
it's on the
captions
on
on.
the. I put it on the website
Oh, you
already.
put it out. Okay. See again, I'm far behind. I didn't see if you put it in the article on the website, but I assume that you put where he said every shot
Yeah,
seems to
every
turn
shot is
into a
on goal.
goal.
Yeah, it's going in goal. I mean, we he said. I mean, we
It's true.
lack solidity. We lack anything that allowed us to succeed last season. And it's the defense was the backbone of this team.
Yes.
Roma were one of the top teams in terms of the goal. Not allowing shots on goal last season. I mean, they were on lockdown last season. They were among some of the very best clubs in the world,
Yeah.
and this season, anything goes. Every single opponent has a chance. The only opponent that didn't score on us is Empoli. So
There, the XG tonight of Genoa, I am using as reference understat.com. The XG of Genoa, 1.6, for Roma, 1.3. And if you go to Serie A on the entire season, okay, Roma in terms of xG, in terms of goals they should have scored relative to goals they have conceded, they are one, two, three, five, fifth from bottom in terms of. Oh no, I take that back. I think they are actually worse than that. Um, I mean, you look and think of Salernitana. Okay, think of tonight. Genuinely, if you were to give teams every 100 opportunities to score goals in that exact way, I don't know what the outcome would be. But I'm terrible at math, but they say that the outcome would probably be not the goal. I mean, I can't think of anything more that summarizes this Roma better than they can't score when they should and they concede when they shouldn't. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And you cannot have solidity when you play that way. Yes, some of it does have to do with bad luck, but I mean, for me, I think it goes to the thing that I just keep harkening back to in this whole thing is what you said at the very beginning about the effort. I mean, I just can't. Beyond that, yeah, Paredes sucks. Indica, he needs to do better. Christensen, come on, improve. You know, we can talk individuals. This is clearly, and I assume you would agree with this. This is a collective problem, and I
Oh no,
truly do
it's top
think it is
down. It's
effort.
top down. It's top
Yes.
down. It's an issue that is just it's a cancerous problem. It's something. I mean, it's the
Oof.
whole team. The whole team folds. It's something that I cannot say about this team under Jose Mourinho in the previous years. It wasn't a team that gave up
Mm,
easily. It wasn't a team where you could, right from the get go say, oh, they're out of it. It was a team that always gave you a reason to believe. Whereas this, I mean, this is just, it's a bunch of individuals that are trying to sort out a problem without the tools to do it, and and
mm,
and the manager's on the sideline and he looks helpless and he looks like he hasn't a clue how to construct something of what he has at his disposal, even though this team, okay, changed, but didn't change to such an extent that it would entail these results.
I am sure he's probably just as shocked as you and I are. I mean,
Definitely.
you see some of these goals scored, and he has to think to himself the same as you and I do. Like, huh? How? How that again? Just time after time after time, and it's Salernitana when Candreva does those two wonder goals. I can say good or bad luck, but now we are 6 matches of this, and it feels like that this is Roma, and just to end it here, how hopeful are you that they can turn this around and do so quickly? Because as you said, and this is just the thing I keep thinking of, and I think you put it perfectly. Just it's one thing to lose, it's one thing to have a result a certain way, but the manner in which we saw today, I can't accept this as just another defeat like the others. I mean, the complexion or the face of this one is so ugly as
Absolutely.
compared to others that
Absolutely.
I just can't accept this one so easily and just say, okay, you know what? Hats off to the opponent, applaud and move on. I just what I saw today, and you said it, the effort, everything about this one irks me so much more than what else I've seen. So is your hopefulness
I would
zero
say, I
then?
mean,
Yeah.
it's for me, it's honestly, I mean,
Oh
I'll
no.
probably give it 50-50. Yeah, 50-50.
Oh. Oh wow.
I will. I
Okay.
mean, what
Well,
do you want me to say? What do you want me?
no,
Do we have more?
I don't know. I sometimes when it's
The
in this
thing is that it's,
moments,
yeah, I think it's pretty evident. It's unacceptable. The team has the talent to not be in the position where they are in the table. So
of
again,
course.
I'm not asking of them to be up there with Inter. I'm asking of them to be up there with Atalanta, with Lazio, with Napoli,
Mm,
and so on. Um, that's all I want. I want a team that shows what they're made of, and they're made of something that is definitely better than 5 points in 6 games. If you don't
Right.
turn this around, then you
I
then what is the plan of action? There is no plan of
yeah,
action. Also, has been going on for way too long. We're at
it has.
55 minutes of this crap
No,
over
I know.
perhaps one of the most
This is
disappointing,
awful.
deflating performances in recent years.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I the only thing, and I will end it with this, is, in moments like this where it's just crap, the ultimate elixir is winning. I mean, I look at Napoli and they were a meme for 48 hours straight, just 2 days of TikTok videos of uh, uh, agent Rudy Garcia going in and becoming a double agent kamikaze and blowing things up from the inside. And they go out and they dismantle Udinese, and you put out, at least temporarily, the fire. You put it out, and that just beat Frosinone. I don't know what else to say. Just defeat Frosinone, live to see another day, and we can, I don't know, cry about this another time. I don't know what else to say. Let's end it there, because if I allow this to get to an hour for a match like this, I just mentally I'll never
No,
come back from it.
no,
So
no.
okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Ciao.